Rob G, big news last night. Came down late last night. I was laying on my couch watching the game, and I see this, come across my phone about Draymond getting suspended. Draymond Green suspended for game 3 of the Warriors King series. Of course, everybody knows it by now. But let's hear from Joe Dumars, who now, of course, the great basketball player with the Pistons, won a few championships, now is the executive vice president and head of basketball operations for the NBA. Let's hear how he explained the league's decision to suspend Draymond Green for 1 game.
If it was a different player with a different history, would he have been suspended here?
That's a possibility. Yes, that's a possibility that it could have been differently. We look at each one of them when they come through, and we sit down and we pour through it. And yeah, Adrian and I had that conversation earlier, and I said that, it could be, it possibly could be for sure. The act itself, okay, we felt over the top and excessive. The conduct, detrimental. Some of the things that went on after the incident, and then also the repeat offender. We think in totality, you take all 3 of those things, and that's where you end up landing with a suspension. If you separate them out individually, maybe not. But if you put them all together, that's how you end up with, and that's how we came up with suspension.
Yeah, Rob, and for those, I mean, if you're listening to this show, you're a sports fan, and if you're a sports fan, you know that Draymond Green stomped on the chest of Domantas Sabonis in game 2 with 7 minutes left in that game. The Kings were up by 4. Now, what preceded Draymond stepping on Sabonis was that Sabonis flopped. He was tangled up, not even tangled up. He was basically next to Klay Thompson as guys are kind of jockeying for position for a rebound. And Klay kind of turns to run up court, and Sabonis just flops and falls down. Then when he's on the ground, he grabs Draymond Green's leg as if they're playing football. And Draymond obviously aggravated that, his leg is grabbed, stomps hard on Sabonis' chest, kind of to probably get him off my leg, but also he sent him a message, and was ejected from the game with a flagrant 2 foul. Sabonis, the league acknowledged, Rob G, that Sabonis was in the wrong as well because he got a technical foul. Now, my take on this whole thing. Number 1, I thought Sabonis should have been given a flagrant 1 instead of just the technical. A flagrant 1, of course, he'd have a point going forward. If you get 4 flagrant foul points in the playoffs, the whole playoffs, you have to miss a game. So I thought he should have been given a flagrant 1 because the definition of that is unnecessary contact with an opponent. Clearly, grabbing Draymond Green's leg was unnecessary. I do think the ejection of Draymond was fair. He took it to he responded to a dirty play by giving an even dirtier play. What he did was worse than what Sabonis did. But I think the ejection with 7 minutes left in a critical playoff game, your team down 0-1, and then the 2 points you get for the flagrant 2 foul, his next flagrant 2, if he gets another one, he has to miss a game. And if he gets a flagrant 1, then he's 1 flagrant 1 away from missing a game. So I thought the punishment was sufficient. And I think the league got this wrong. And if you want to, look, I understand. I'm not going to cry Draymond a river because I do understand that, look, you put yourself at the mercy of the league. You didn't have to do that, what you did to Sabonis. Even if you're aggravated that he grabbed your leg, you can flop yourself. You could have fallen, which isn't beyond Draymond, to act like you got fouled or, shake it off and, shake hard, whatever. You didn't have to do that. So you put yourself at the mercy of the league, and with your track record, and Rob G, I've heard people say that shouldn't have anything to do with it. I understand that, but I don't know a realm of life where what you've done in the past, and it's not about people not being forgiven, but it's about what you've done in the past. You always kind of comes in and affects the present, whether you're raising your children, whether you have kids at school with teachers, whether you have in a corporation, what in the government as a politician. What realm of life doesn't what you've done in the past have something to do with what you did presently? We've said it before, Rob Parker and I, Rob. If Meta World Peace, Ron Artest, when he was playing, if he does something egregious, it was going to be treated differently than, say, if Kobe Bryant did the same thing. Because Meta World Peace had a track record of destruction. I'm taking it a little far, but, you know, he had done a lot of things similar to Draymond. And so to act like that shouldn't have anything to do with it, I think it's just kind of being naive. But I do agree with those folks in that I thought the punishment already fit the crime. And I thought it was excessive, and now it completely swings. I mean, granted, you know, the Kings were up 2-0. You can argue whether or not you think they had control of the series because they just won 2 games at home. Now, if the Warriors go back and do the same thing, it's evened up at 2. So I don't know that they're controlling the series, but now they certainly are because the Warriors, Rob, are missing one of their best players. And even as Draymond may not be what he used to be, the Warriors' net rating, offensively, Rob G, they are 6 points better per 100 with Draymond on the floor. And defensively, they are 6 points better. So there is a plus 12, plus 12 rating or positive impact rating that Draymond Green brings to the team. And despite having arguably a top 10 player in Steph Curry, despite having another Hall of Famer in Klay Thompson, despite having Andrew Wiggins, who has made an all-star team and was a number 1 draft pick, Draymond Green's net rating or positive impact rating is the highest on the team. This is a huge loss.
Yeah, and to put those numbers into perspective for our older audience who's not into the analytics and plus minus and
like
all that,
I am.
Just the Warriors, when Draymond plays, win 56% of their games. When he doesn't this season, they only win 33. So that's a huge thing to say. And to respond to what your overall larger point was, I only got 3 words for you. Rob was right. Rob Parker told me to let you know that he was right and that he predicted that this was going to happen.
Oh, no, he didn't predict this
or that he deserved. He needed to get suspended.
Rob, I hope you listen. You get no props. Because what you said was he should be suspended, but you didn't think he would be suspended.
Right. I
get it. He's not right a lot, Rob. He's trying to just take whatever he can, but no, I'm not.
No, I was surprised. I was surprised he was suspended, not because I didn't think he didn't deserve it, but because when Shams Charania goes out on the limb and says something like that, that usually is because he's spoken to somebody in the league office, and that's what's going on. However, I agree with the suspension. Look, there's a reason why, and you alluded to this.
The Laker fan coming out of you.
I would say this if you played for the Lakers. There's a reason why you get 1 speeding ticket. It's 1 point against your record. Hey, it is what it is. But if you get 4 of them, like within a year, your driver's license gets suspended. Draymond Green steps over the line repeatedly. In the words of Dave Chappelle, he's a habitual line stepper. All right? That's what he does. That is what his MO is, and the numbers back it up. In his NBA career, he has 162 technical fouls, 17 ejections, 4 suspensions. And he is now the only player in the last 10 seasons to be suspended multiple times in the playoffs. Say what you want about this specific incident, whether or not it rose to the, warranting a suspension, that can be debated till the cows come home. The fact remains is that Draymond Green repeatedly put himself in this position to where he's no longer going to get the benefit of the doubt. He's always going to be seen as the aggressor. He's always going to be seen as the instigator. And
true.
anytime he does something that could be seen as unsavory, they're going to come down on him harder than they would on Klay Thompson, on Steph Curry, on Andrew Wiggins. So Draymond Green, it sucks that it happened because now it feels like this series, I think, is going to be over because I don't know how they're going to win without him. But I can't say I'm upset because that's the consequence of his actions.
Now that's a fair point. And like I said, I disagree with the ruling, but I'm not going to get all up in arms about it because Draymond does have this history and he put himself at the mercy of the league. Knowing you have this history, you put yourself at their mercy. So it is what it is with that. But let me ask you this. Do you think or agree with, because Joe Dumars alluded to Draymond's antics after Yeah, and one, I believe Sabonis was on the ground.
Right.
Writhing in pain. Now,
and Adam Silver was in the building.
Yeah. I mean, look, in a vacuum, I actually like what Draymond did in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's great. I think when Memphis comes to LA, Rob G, if Dylan Brooks, or maybe he's not the right person, but one player right, he's got a track record too. But if a Grizzlies player is
Jared Jackson Jr.
Bring it on. Yeah, bring it on. Yeah. Y'all booing me. Come on. Bring it on. Like, I like that. I think that makes it more exciting for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes it more exciting for the viewers. It just brings more drama, which we all like. It's Reggie Miller and Spike Lee. I know that's 1-on-1. Trae Young at the Garden. Remember that? And the fans are chanting, F Trae Young and all that stuff. We like that stuff. But I get with Draymond's track record.
Time and place.
I mean, I don't think that should have been a big consideration. Fortunately, nothing did happen, but it definitely looks bad when the other guys rather than pain. And at that point, we don't know. Is he seriously hurt? Is something wrong with him? So fortunately he isn't. But I also think, Rob G, what played a role was that Draymond, at least in the post-game interview, I don't know when he talked to the league what he said. He didn't show any remorse.
None.
Like,
Zero.
all you have to do is be like, look, I ain't gonna lie. I was upset. He grabbed my leg. You don't do that in basketball, but I went too far. You can't step on a guy like that. I get it. I deserve the eject. Just that's all you got to say.
Right.
Is I went too far. That little bit of remorse may have, I'm not sure, but may have made a difference, Rob G.
I definitely think so. And to your point, I enjoy the Trae Young situation. I love all that stuff, right? Even though I don't really enjoy the Steph Curry shimmy, only because I think that
because he does it to the Lakers.
No, because I think that people are like, oh, Steph is just a great player. He doesn't do all that. I'm like, no, Steph Curry talks as much trash as anybody there is. Just that he talks like to the crowd rather than to directly to like another player.
Right, and I like all that.
Yeah, but Draymond Green jumping onto a chair and yelling at the crowd after committing a flagrant foul, like that's some WWE stuff. Like that makes you look like a clown. If you do that after getting a big block shot or you set up a steal and Steph Curry drains a logo 3, sure, do whatever you want. But you stomped on a dude's chest, he's laying on the ground in pain, you get a flagrant foul, and you're gonna start jawing at the crowd. Like that makes you look like a fool.
Yeah, like I said, in a vacuum, it's all right, but in that context,
I'm surprised he didn't pot about it.
I mean,
the emergency podcast from the locker room, I just got ejected.
I mean, if you're walking out, you do that. You're walking out. Maybe you're saying, "Bring it on." You know what I mean?
Right.
As they're booing you as you're walking to the tunnel or whatever.
Right.